Corey Heim ended the afternoon with the first NASCAR Cup Series victory of his career, while Bubba Wallace crossed the line in second place and looked anything but satisfied. That contrast became the entire story. One driver was celebrating a breakthrough that came far earlier than most people expected, and the other was left with a finish that should have felt strong, but instead sounded like a loss. Because both cars belonged to 23XI Racing, the result was even more striking. The team scored a 1-2 finish, yet the emotions in victory lane were completely different. Wallace praised Heim publicly, but the way he talked about the race, the missed opportunity, and the what-if moments made fans debate whether his words came off as a subtle jab. The race took place at Naval Base Coronado in San Diego, a venue that already made the weekend feel historic. NASCAR had never raced on an active United States military installation before, and the setting added pressure from the start. The course stretched across streets and airfields, the crowd was large, and the atmosphere was unlike a normal road course event. Before the race even began, a small detail made people look back at it differently. During driver introductions, several U.S. Navy service members stood with Corey Heim and mimicked his wrist-tap victory celebration. At the time, it looked like a simple gesture. By the end of the day, it looked like a warning sign. Heim entered the event as a highly regarded driver, but not the favorite. He was still running a part-time Cup Series schedule, even though his reputation had already been built through a dominant Craftsman Truck Series championship in 2025. He had only limited Cup starts behind him and was still learning the top level of NASCAR. At the same time, his future was already mapped out, since 23XI Racing had announced him as a full-time driver for 2027. That made the San Diego win even more important, because it came much sooner than most people expected. It was not supposed to be the weekend where Heim became a winner in the Cup Series, but that is exactly what happened. The race did not begin smoothly for him. Heim started 13th, then fell back quickly and dropped to 20th in the opening phase. His team put on what he later described as the worst two tire sets they had available, and the car did not respond well early in the run. Crew chief Booty Barker kept telling him to stay patient because those early tires were not going to be strong enough to show the full pace of the car. Heim trusted that message and did not force the issue. After stage 2, he regrouped mentally and decided to attack the race instead of waiting for it to come to him. That decision mattered, because once the field started changing, he was ready. After stage 2, I just took a deep breath, Heim said. I had high expectations coming into this race, even playing field for me. That mindset helped him stay calm as the race began to shift around him. The event turned on a major crash on lap 31, when Austin Hill and Connor Zilisch were battling at the front. Hill carried too much speed into turn 1, locked the brakes, and sent both cars into the outside wall. Zilisch hit hard and bounced into the path of Shane van Gisbergen, who had no room to escape. The wreck removed several major contenders at once and changed the entire shape of the race. Hill later accepted responsibility, while van Gisbergen described his day with one blunt line: "I'm filthy." With several front runners out, the closing part of the race became far less predictable. Tyler Reddick, Heim's teammate and one of the strongest road course drivers in the field, looked like the likely winner for much of the final run. He controlled the race, set the pace from the front, and appeared to be in position to turn a strong day into another victory. But rear tire wear became a problem. Reddick started losing the pace he needed, and Heim, running on his best set of tires, closed rapidly. On lap 73, Reddick slipped slightly in turn 2, and that was enough for Heim to attack. The two teammates ran side by side through the next corners, each trying to win the position without destroying the race for the other. That battle ended with one of the most important moments of the afternoon. Reddick tried to recover, attempted a crossover move, and brushed the wall while making contact with Heim's car. Then he made a choice that showed the situation clearly. He backed off rather than force the issue. I ran him straight in the wall, Reddick said after the race. That wasn't right. I wasn't going to pass him for the win that way, especially a teammate. That decision left Heim clear air at the front, and he finished the race by leading only the final 3 laps. He crossed the line 10.365 seconds ahead of Bubba Wallace and captured his first career Cup win in only his 13th start. The finish also gave 23XI Racing its first ever 1-2 finish in team history. It was another milestone for a team that already looked strong throughout the weekend. Heim's win also gave Toyota its fourth straight Cup Series victory, and the manufacturer had not done that since 2017. Heim was direct after climbing out of the car. "I'm speechless," he said. "I couldn't believe it." He also spoke about the path that led to the moment, saying, "That's all full circle for me, going from one street course just crushing my life to probably the best day of my life here a year later." That was a clear reference to his failed 2025 Chicago street race attempt, which had ended in disappointment on his birthday. Denny Hamlin, who co-owns 23XI Racing, was also surprised by how quickly Heim converted talent into a Cup victory. "Really surprised. I mean, truthfully, really surprised," Hamlin said. He added that he knew the speed was there once the race was underway. "I knew he had plenty of speed." Hamlin also pointed to the bigger picture, since Heim had been developed carefully through lower series, testing, and part-time Cup opportunities instead of being rushed into full-time pressure. Toyota Racing Development President Tyler Gibbs said the patience had now paid off. He called Heim incredibly talented and said the timing of the win should not erase the preparation that led to it. In Gibbs' words, the results were proving what Toyota had seen in Heim for years. Wallace's race told a very different story. He started 12th, moved up quickly, and reached second place inside the first 10 laps. Then the race turned against him when his right front wheel came off after a pit stop, triggering a caution and forcing him into a 2-lap penalty. The problem was traced to a crew mistake on the wheel nut, and it put Wallace in a deep hole with most of the race still ahead. He did not quit. He took advantage of caution periods, fought back through the field, and somehow recovered to finish second, which was his best road course result in the Cup Series after 40 prior starts on road and street circuits. But even after that recovery, he still sounded like a driver thinking about what might have been. "It's what if," Wallace said. "Tired of living in that." He also gave credit to Heim and to the winning crew, saying, "My body language and facial expressions will not show it, but I am really excited for Corey and Booty getting him back to victory lane." Wallace followed that with another important point: being a winner in the Cup Series is something that when we get there, we all want to achieve. That praise was real, but so was the frustration underneath it. Fans on social media split into two groups. Some heard a driver who was disappointed about a missed opportunity. Others heard a tone that sounded like subtle shade toward his teammate. That interpretation became the controversy, not the words alone. Wallace also put the race in practical terms, which made his frustration easier to understand. He explained that the team worked hard all weekend and that the wheel issue was the kind of mistake that changes everything in a race like this. "There's just another asterisk mark beside our finish, and that's what's frustrating," he said in the related post-race discussion. He made clear that he was not dismissing Heim's win, but he was also not hiding how painful the result felt from inside the car. That is why the second-place finish did not feel like a gain. It felt like a recovery from a problem that should never have happened in the first place. The fallout continued after the race because NASCAR handed out penalties to Wallace's team. Adam Hartman and Nathan Ricketts were suspended for the next 2 Cup Series races after the loose wheel violation, which means Sonoma Raceway and Chicagoland Speedway will come without 2 key pit crew members. NASCAR said the issue violated sections 8.10.4a and d of the rulebook. That adds pressure to a team already trying to keep pace in the standings. Sonoma now matters even more, and the pit crew changes will force the team to adjust quickly. What all of this means is simple. 23XI Racing is no longer being discussed only as a promising organization. It looks like a team with speed, depth, and multiple drivers capable of winning. Corey Heim is no longer just the future, because he is already a Cup Series winner. And Bubba Wallace and Heim are now tied together in a bigger storyline than one race result, because one driver is trying to build on a career-changing victory while the other is trying to turn frustration into points before the next race. If you want more NASCAR news like this, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more race updates, team drama, and breakdowns from every major weekend.